How's it going? To catch the viewers up, we had a 40-minute conversation about death. And we didn't record it because I guess we didn't want to be awkward.
Oh,
But briefly, although it's never brief, what are the views from our Celtic tradition? What are the views of witchcraft and death? I'm gonna throw it over to you a little bit, but you can throw it back.
okay. I wasn't sure if I was seeing a rhetorical question or like an actual question. So,
Well, I guess a question. We've talked a little bit. I know that when people pass, we have rites, we have rituals, we have traditions, and one of the traditions we've spoken about earlier was that um, typically um, the witch's tools, not all of them, uh, the personal shadows are destroyed
mhm.
or buried. But did you want to add anything to that?
Sure, absolutely. So dying while witchy. Yes.
I'm dying to be a witch.
No, please no. You're already a witch.
But initiation is um, a acknowledgement of transition, so it does sort of represent death.
A
It
death and
often is a re-entering into the womb of creation, of which we are created as babies, and we are born again into a new life, and often given a new name.
mhm. So in within our tradition, um, it's inherently we believe in reincarnation. So one of the stories that we have, um, you know, told and been told throughout the decades that we've been around is, the Celts believed so strongly in reincarnation that you could loan somebody something in this life and say, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll catch you next life."
I made a contract like that.
Did you?
So somebody owes me some money, probably in their next life.
It's not me, is it?
No, no, it's not. It's when I sold Foxcraft. It was a handshake,
Yeah.
and I was like, this life or next. They very much believed in this life or next. So
I think that when you bought my share of Foxcraft, it was a token amount of money and it was a pack of Virginia Slims 120s.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was written up.
I have it.
Yeah, there you go. And Alexandria helped us work through the details
Mhm.
and added that part in and typed it up, I think, on the early computer at the time and printed it out. And, yeah, and I had a copy, and I couldn't tell you where it is now. I think I still have it though, and I have a reasonable guess where I might look. But
Mine's in my filing cabinet right over there.
right, I have sections of my basement that are, and I try to reorganize them when I moved everything. Dungeons and Dragons, and then spiritual stuff.
Yeah.
So all and but with that is sometimes the spiritual stuff is also memorabilia. So
Mhm.
old journals, old pictures, old photos. Um, there are some still floating around somewhere. I don't. I don't know. But yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm talking about other things to like bring it back to our original conversation. So yeah, it's often your personal books of shadows are frequently it's burned.
Yeah.
So when this happened in my world and our high priestess died, we actually got a 55-gallon one of those metal drums,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and put it in the backyard. And she had written in her will, how to dispose of a lot of things, which created its own set of issues because, you take a will like that that's written from the high priestess of a traditional Wiccan witchcraft
Written
Celtic,
from the heart.
written from the heart. The
Yes.
lawyer was like, "This is the weirdest will I have ever seen."
Yeah, so written from the heart. Um, we also have another part of our tradition is that not going to bring the law of the land to our you know attention, basically. So we
Mhm.
don't want to break the local laws. So within this tradition is um, thou shalt not, break the law, basically.
Mhm.
Um, so, um, and invariably, it could cause like little bits of conflict, usually not very much. Um, Sometimes it's as simple as, returning someone's ashes to nature. And if you look into the legality of it, it can be torturous. Um,
Mhm.
or it can be easy, but so sometimes we have to balance these worlds of the spiritual world and the physical world.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and handy hint, if you have somebody's ashes that the general you, um, to if you want to dispose of those on federal land, you need to get a permit.
you do, you do.
A lot of people want to go out to like a park or whatever
Yes,
and inter them, but or whatever, or sprinkle them.
yep,
You really need a permit for that.
yes. Although I will say, and that's the technical correct truth. Although I also think that I've known people to um, sort of smartly do it, which is, I think I remember someone saying they had their ashes in their pockets and then they went on this trip and knowing that they were going to lose ashes along the way on, but that was the idea, and it wasn't like a full giant container. It was, a token amount. And token amounts, I think there's a lot of officials with a very small amount are just going to turn a blind eye. But yeah, yeah, just be careful opening that container in high winds.
100%. I feel like that there's probably a couple conversations that
Yeah.
need to
Well,
happen.
I
Yeah.
know many witches that wanted cremation. Um, but in our tradition it's a return to the elements.
Mhm.
So um uh and the elements are often involved. So it's like a very earthen burial is the interment in the earth, which is still very popular. Um um Ash is typically seen by fire, right? The element of fire, cremation,
Mhm.
transformation, um, and water. So burial at sea,
Mhm.
right? Um, and then some people see burial by air as the sort of tradition that like Tibetan monks may have, where um, basically you're returned to the environment, but via birds. So
Mhm.
so then the birds would carry your spirit back to nature.
I see a lot of people are starting to do the composting burial, which just became legal in
Yep,
Maryland.
yep. Very environmental, low impact. There's a lot
Mhm.
of pagans and witches that would be interested in going that way.
Mhm.
A lot of people would say they want something very simple. I've heard this a lot too, which is like, I just want a cardboard box. And in some places you just can't do that, right?
Yeah.
So they say, no, you can't do that. And then you're kind of stuck. But it does depend on local laws. So you can do some research. It is, um, I had a friend who said, you can have anything that you want, but you have to plan for it. So, and he was selling plans and packages at the time. So he was like, if you want a burial by air in Tibet, you can do that.
Mhm.
And it will be this amount of money. And, then you set aside, you have a plan, or you take that money and you put it into account. But that's, not generally something that people do. They don't don't plan for their death. Sometimes, when you get older, I have a will.
Mhm. As do
I
I.
do,
Mhm.
yeah, and I do, but also you and I got ambushed a little bit. So Alexandria had two wills, one
Yes.
she didn't sign.
Yeah. The
So
newer one. Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah,
one. So heed well.
yes. So
You update your will, have it signed and
notarized.
notarized.
Yeah, it has to be notarized. So my dad had signed his, but didn't have it notarized. Now it's interesting because the judge was like, I would like to see it, even though it's not notarized. And it was exactly what the court would do, which is to say, I'm going to split this evenly between the three surviving brothers. So
Mhm.
my dad's will and the will of the state of Maryland was the same. So it
Mhm.
was convenient. Um, and interesting that the judge, asked to see it.
Mhm.
So, but my dad had not notarized it. It was like on his list of things to do, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, life interrupts. Granted, he is 83. So, he was a little past his prime, perhaps. But I think when people just kind of put it off because it's the hard conversation, it's the hard thing. Um, but I think also getting that our will done, it's like a peace of mind. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
uh, your fear, worry, and concern is lessened. You know what I mean? It's not as and living a life that's worry free is our is our goal, right?
It is. Yeah.
I just want to worry. Is it going to be hot today? Is it going to rain? And
Mhm.
am I going to be able to lay out? Uh, so granted, this is typically my one day off. I I grind
Mhm.
and have to make changes. I'm rubbing my hip as I say this because I stand and work a lot. Uh,
60 hours a week. Yeah.
uh, it's not really 60. It is 6 days.
Mhm.
It is 9 hours of driving. Um, I'm probably averaging just like at 40 hours, honestly. You know what I mean? I have worked 70 hours a week, but again, quality of life. And you don't want to spend all your time doing these things. So you have to find balance with life because it's it's not forever. You can ask my brother and my dad, my mom.
Right.
All right. So and it wasn't like um although my dad was the oldest, so he probably knew um he still had sort of not done all the planning that
Mhm.
perhaps he could have. So it changed how I'm trying to live my life. So I don't want to leave um big piles of messes or anything like that, or 20,000 books. I want to leave less. There'll be some stuff, but I don't want to leave a lot of junk, that people have to then go through themselves. I just want
Yeah.
to get rid of the junk, which is hard because I'm the son of my father, who is a hoarder. He grew up right around the Great Depression, and
Yes.
he grew up in poverty. I didn't even know he grew up in poverty, but when I found that
Changes
out,
people forever. Mhm.
it made sense. You want to hang on to everything, right? Um, My mom, just a little bit of a hoarder, just a little bit, not like my dad, but still she hoarded plants, cats, and good books. She loved science fiction, which is always funny when people were like, "Science fiction, your mom," you know. But that was her number one. She loved female science fiction authors,
Mhm.
and when I got into paganism and witchcraft, she read as well some books, so she liked some parts of it. She definitely did. But you know a little bit about parents that hoard as well.
Indeed. The things that happens when you live through the Great Depression, when you have
Yeah,
nothing, it changes forever. And
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So like you, I'm trying to go through things and procedures so that it's not a burden, you
not
know.
yeah. You don't want it to be hit with the weight of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, rites and rituals, like the woo-woo side of things, I guess, for lack of
Mhm.
a better word. Have you might have a little more to say than I do. Not that, we got into circle after some of these people passed, but you may have done some magic yourself.
So rites and rituals. And here's another place where it is very difficult in a Christian-centered allopathic medicine kind of situation, right? Because when somebody dies, you're supposed to call the police. I have a dead body. So from the get-go, the police are involved. So any non-codified relationship, in that case, it was for me, it was before the passing of the Marriage Equality Act. So I had no legal standing. Thankfully, we were in Rehoboth Beach where same-sex couples were common and the cops were prepared for that kind of thing. She always wanted to be buried in her entirety, but because she died fairly young, that was not something that I could fight. So they did an autopsy, which, they take stuff out and look at it and they take samples, which was expressly what she did not want done. There was
Right,
no opportunity to go, you know, the traditional washing of the body, the anointing with oils, all of those things. Once her remains got into the system, they were literally out of all of our hands. There was no way to stop that snowball once it got rolling. So one thing I would say is make sure that somebody has your power of attorney, your durable power of attorney, and your medical power of attorney. If you want someone um, to be able to make decisions when you can no longer do that, because the decisions made by most of the medical community are not going to be the decisions that you as a pagan, Wiccan, whatever, might want to be made. So,
right. The washing of the body and the anointing of the body is definitely reminiscent of traditions of the Middle East, Egypt, right?
mhm.
So,
So yeah, these are things. Did I think about an um, autopsy? Well, I was 31 and absolutely not.
right.
Did I think about what was going to happen? No, I called 911,
Yeah,
and that was how I found out that when you think someone is dying, that they called the police for you, really.
right. Yes.
Because somebody have to be there. That happened with my dad too. I called
Yeah,
911 with my dad, and they had to
yeah,
send the police also.
yeah.
Um, so like things to know.
Right. Yeah.
for
My
and for a tradition that wants to be
yeah,
not wants to avoid interactions with the law of the land as much as possible. We want to have a low profile and you know
yeah, we also want to comply. So we want to
Yeah.
comply, but we have a
Yes.
tradition which is
Mhm.
difficult to recognize. I feel like the Muslims would wash their dead and anoint them with
Mhm.
oil.
And
Um,
Starhawk has a um, not in the Spiral Dance. It's her second or third book that she goes through a um, that she provides one option for how to treat the dead. And you know what? I'm wrong. The police didn't come when Alexandria died. I called, we were still trying to save her life.
right,
I called 911. And in that instance, the police were not there. It was my dad.
right, right,
The, but and then he lived. So who knows? He lived that
right,
time.
right,
So anyway, complicated.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's also you don't even recognize that it's a blur because it just
Mhm.
sort of unfolds, and you're just like, oh, this is where we're at now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but the
And
spirit leaves the it leaves pretty much right away. So by most accounts that if you choose to believe,
mhm.
the near death experience. So
Yeah.
and their reference to their body is like, oh, that's not me.
Mhm.
That's a shell. Who is that person? Sometimes they don't recognize themselves. Who is that? That's not me.
Yes.
And then there's perhaps the realization, and then with realization is usually transition. So, but yeah, we typically will say that a spirit will 3 days, maybe will be near their body or their loved ones. Sometimes longer. Um, so that's when people have dreams where people show up in their dreams and they're like, this is a real dream. This is a true experience that happened.
Mhm.
People will see their father sitting on the edge of the bed, and, saying things like, I'm glad to have known you. And you won't be seeing me for a while.
Mhm.
So, but it's I guess the spirit tries to find closure.
Mhm.
You know.
I did have one with the doctor who delivered me.
Oh,
And just because I think this is the coolest thing.
yeah.
I was the first baby born in the hospital, Frederick Memorial, who actually had the father present as well. My parents had come from Berkeley, California.
Oh,
And my mom actually clipped out the little newspaper article about it because it was
uh,
such a big deal. Nobody did
uh,
that. Um,
wow. Yeah. Now it's like commonplace.
yeah, but
Yeah. Yeah. But the men
that,
were ordered to leave the room.
yes. But
You out.
the doctor who delivered me, he had been, I don't know, he'd been dead for a long time. And he showed up in one of my dreams when I lived in Delaware and was like, hey, I'm just checking in just to see how you're doing, just coming by to say hi.
There you go. There you go.
It was great.
That's great. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will dream about my dad every now and then.
Hmm.
He was a mathematician. When he appeared in a dream, it was in, I think, the Crystal Fox in the front area where there's a lot of sun,
Hmm.
and he was showing me something on paper that he was like, did I get this right? And I was like, yeah, you got this right. The realization was later that what changed his life as a young man. When he was 17, he joined the military, lied about his age to get in. One of the things they did is they put him in school, and he did well. He had never done well in school before. He was like a C student. He was never did well for his entire school career until he hit the military. The military gave him some tools. One was, I guess, a level of discipline, um, probably a strong father figure, which I don't think he had before that. And note-taking skills. Like, so when he started taking notes in classes, then
Mm-hmm.
it sort of clicked for him. And so he excelled with math. So I feel like in the dream, it was like a math. And I feel like he was teaching at the time too. Like, did I get this right? Am I teaching, what is right to these people? And I got to acknowledge, yes, you're right, you know. But he was a little bit smaller than me, which probably threw me in my dream a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he was younger, but I think he was a kid in the dream. And I was, my older self in the dream. And so, yeah, I guess, people do come back in different ways, sometimes vividly, um, and sometimes in subtle ways. So, yeah, but it is part of our story arc.
Mm-hmm.
um, it is the domain of deities which are very popular right now, like Hecate,
Mm-hmm.
Hecate, um, Medusa, even the Gorgon, right?
Yes.
Um, uh, yeah, so uh, it's part of the story arc, and with death we have renewal. So we have the renewal of the soul, as we believe we are born into new bodies, and we get to take the lessons with us,
Mm-hmm.
but not all these memories which might distract us from what we need to work on in this lifetime. But I was always told by Alexandria, if you have figured it out, if you've worked it out, if you have struggled with an issue, but you finally, have worked through it, you've learned a spiritual lesson, you've learned it in your heart, um, then you don't have to return to that.
Mm-hmm.
But you will be challenged in your future lives. So if maybe you struggled with addiction in a past life, you may be faced with it in this life as well. Like, did you really get the lesson?
Mm-hmm.
Life wants to say, did you get it? Did you really get it? So we have these struggles, but these struggles help us grow. They help us change. They're all just, every struggle, every problem, it's a blessing. But it's not a blessing until later we can look back on it and be like, oh, that was the impetus that made me change.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the story for now.
Make a will.
What's that?
Make a will.
Get it notarized.
Get it notarized. And have it where people can find you.
Right. And
it.
also, like my dad, he didn't have it notarized, but at least he wrote it and at least he signed it. And then the judge would look at it.
Yeah.
And be clear with your wishes, my brother, maybe wasn't so clear. So I assume, and I'm pretty sure this is correct, but now there's an assumption that he wanted what my parents had. You know what I mean? So they wanted their bodies to be donated to science.
Mm-hmm.
And then with my mom, we got cremated remains afterwards. With my father, we did not get cremated remains afterwards. And with my brother, I think we're going to get cremated remains after. But this is like, you have to put it together and be like, okay,
Mm-hmm. Also,
what do you want?
make sure if you want your body donated to science, make sure you tell people what science is, because my mother wanted to donate her body to science.
Yeah.
And when she died, she had thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of paper all over the place. Nobody knew where her will was.
All right.
So we had to make the best of what we knew. But And also, so when you say to science, what is science? Is
Right,
it a university? Is it the people who are, seeing how fast
right,
mushrooms grow? Is it like,
right.
um,
All of those things. And if you're not specific, yes, that's what can happen. But that was what my parents wanted. So
mhm,
theirs was probably very generic, but
mhm,
you can be much more specific.
yeah.
And some people, want their body donated to the body farm.
Mhm. Thank you.
You
That's the mushroom people I was trying to think of.
know, there's more than one. There's more than one place, and they don't take everybody, and
Mhm,
they probably have enough. But there are other places. So, and if you want a, sort of compostable burial, which is popular in the pagan community at this time, then you have to, be clear on what you want, um, provide for it.
mhm,
You don't want to like just, I want something really elaborate and I'm just going to hang on my family.
mhm,
That's not fair. Like if you want a grand funeral with a mausoleum, then you know put some money aside for
mhm.
that. It's because
Yes.
it's very expensive, and I think my parents also chose the donate your body to science because they knew it was the most affordable.
Mhm,
My dad's being the chief affordability. But people will look at you too. They're like, "Are you sure?" Because the
mhm.
nurses there know, and they're like, Was that what they wanted?" Because they'll be shocked. They'll be like,
Yes.
"Are you sure? Do you know what that entails?" And I'm like,
Mhm.
they were clear. They wanted
Yes.
their body done into science, and then they're like, "Okay, you just need to sign
Mhm.
this paper, and all right, bye."
And
And then you leave.
depending on how you feel about the military, also in Bethesda, Maryland, there is the medical university for the
Yeah.
branches of the military. You can donate your body to that. Also, you have to do some paperwork ahead of
Yes.
schedule.
Yep.
Um, and it's a nominal fee, but what happens is they do research to see how they can help returning veterans live better lives, and
Yes.
so if that's your jam, and if you have no heirs to pick up your body after they're through with it, they will cremate it and put it in, of all places, the Hagerstown City Cemetery.
There you go. There you go.
So,
Yeah, my father probably could have gotten some sort of military um, funeral burial, but he
mhm.
didn't want that. He had a Purple Heart and hid it. Didn't really let us know, and Dylan knew. My brother knew that he threw his medals in the trash at one point. So, but I just think it's just like he had that life, and then I think in retrospect he wasn't proud of it, even though uh, I really do think that he was perhaps doing good things, but at the cost of the cost of other lives. So
Mhm.
I think that was what where the regret came from. So, but he was a teacher, so I think that was the important part. Just to be a positive force. I guess that was his focus. Um, both my parents were teachers. Yeah. I did sort of. I was always at odds with Alexandria about one thing,
What was that?
and that was organ donation. She was
Oh,
like, "No," and I was like, "Yes," and she was like, "No," and I was like, "Yes."
that
So
mhm. That
go
came
ahead.
up.
Yeah.
Absolutely, she wanted to be buried complete as she
Yes.
was.
Yes.
Her belief was that if you gave your organs to other people, it would entwine your karma and their karma.
Yes.
And also, with the autopsy, when they take samples and stuff, that if she would not be at peace if she did not go complete. Um,
Right. And
so
many traditions are like that.
mhm,
Um, yeah. I want to say Native American, but I don't know that they're all of that same opinion, because I think they have different traditions and different cultures. But there's a lot of traditions where it's like you want an intact body.
mhm.
I am of the belief that the body is a shell, and it's just like, you know. But there is something to it, and there is sort of, it's not scientific, but there is something to your organs being in somebody else's body, and I think this has to do and a little bit of science, a little bit of science we don't understand, but memory.
Mm-hmm.
We always say it's in our brain, but memory is in your body
Mm-hmm.
as well. There is a there is a factor in our body where memory is stored. So our memory is stored in other parts of our body as well. And people
And
that do body work, I think, come to this thought and this realization because they'll do body work, like a massage practitioner on different parts of the body, and it just cracks open all sorts of a flood of memories for people. Um,
and inherit genetic modifications from trauma also.
yeah, that
So
stays.
our
Yeah,
parents that remembered the Great Depression,
yes.
some of that genetically got passed to us as their genes changed
Yep.
during.
That's why we hold on to our possessions. That's why I can't get rid of any dice.
So, yeah, yeah.
I can get rid of some dice, but it's it's hard. It's hard to give up things that are mementos that mean something. Hold memory. But we have to.
Some, I have relented some on my position because watching my father lose his memories and as the dementia grew,
Yeah.
those old things sometimes are the
Gateway.
keystones that keep us, remind us who we are. Um,
Absolutely.
it's it's important to be like, okay, that book I got this,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah. I agree. I
yeah,
agree. I agree with that. And I did keep things.
scale.
Yeah, I did keep certain things. And some of the things are just funny that we wanted to keep from my parents when they passed. So,
Mhm.
there was a Red Bull, and everyone wanted that Red Bull, and everybody wanted the. There was a woman's. I guess it was a bust, but it was just the head. Um, but it looked like my mom, and we all thought it looked like my mom. I thought it was my mom when I was a little kid, but it was. I think the reason why my dad bought it is because he thought it looked like
Oh,
my mom. Um, so there are things, and I'm glad that my brother Eric could take some of the furniture because I couldn't take the furniture where I was living at the time, and still now today, I don't think I could. We took two, I think, nightstands. That was it.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, but my parents had this Danish furniture. It was all from the Art Deco era,
mhm,
so it's 60s mahogany, um, built in Norway, I think.
mhm.
No, Danish. So I guess built in Denmark. Denmark.
Scandinavian design, yeah.
Scandinavian, right?
And that was some
Scandinavian.
of the era. My folks had some too, 60s
Yeah,
Scandinavian design.
yeah,
Mhm,
yeah. But so touchstones are good.
mhm,
Uh, um, Wood and stone that bring us back, that we can touch, that that bring us back to those memories.
mhm,
Yeah, for sure. And there are a lot of ways that, and we're working hard on preserving our brains.
mhm,
Uh, Walking, laying in the sun, the elements of the natural world, right?
mhm.
Walking, talking, a little bit of sunlight, uh, you know, the elements that we touch every day, you know,
Earth, dirt.
earth, earth. Yeah. Like yesterday, I walked outside and I was in my bare feet and it just rained. And I was like, I could just tell. It was after a long day. All my days are long. It was after a long day. It was after a long day of work, and I had my shoes off, and I was walking barefoot, and it just rained outside, and I just could feel that my body, my soul, the electric field in my body was grounded, and I was just like, oh yeah, that feels good. That's right. So Yeah, a lot of pagan elements coming back to us in the world these days. A little resurgence, perhaps. So it's nice to see.
It is nice to see.
Yep. We could talk forever.
Well, as always, thanks for watching.
Yep. Thank you for the likes, and thank you for subscribing, and thank you for listening to our thoughts and rituals concerning death today.
We appreciate you.
Yeah. Enjoy. Stay healthy.
Stay healthy.